As dawn broke on the morning of July 2nd, 1863, General George Meade's forces were holding high ground in a defensive position and expecting a Confederate attack at Gettysburg. Meade was placing his army in the shape of a fishhook along the high ground, with the barb of the hook at Culp's Hill in the northeast, and the shaft of the hook running south along Cemetery Ridge to a hill known as Little Round Top. With each Union corps linking up at their ends, they could form a continuous line. However, one of Meade's corps commanders had a different idea. General Dan Sickles, commander of 3rd Corps, saw a peach orchard ahead of his position on Cemetery Ridge and decided to move his troops forward in a very fateful decision that had great impact on the battle to come. Historians have called Daniel Sickles flamboyant, impulsive, and a question mark. All these descriptions seem befitting of the man who was the first person to ever be acquitted of murder on a plea of temporary insanity. Despite all this, Sickles was made a general in the Union Army, but his unique personality showed up again when he acted against orders and put the entire Union Army in serious jeopardy at Gettysburg. In our exclusive interview with Sickles, he defended his decisions to the last.
On the morning of July 2nd, I received no specific orders from General Meade, so I thought I could place my troops at my discretion. I looked ahead to the peach orchard and found it very good ground. So later that day I decided to move my troops forward. At Chancellorsville, my men got butchered. They got shredded to bits because we were not allowed to take more advantageous ground. So I decided to move into the peach orchard to avoid another Chancellorsville situation.
Confederate soldier Leroy Willis, who fought under Longstreet against General Dan Sickles in the peach orchard at Gettysburg, says he will never forget that fateful day.
So Longstreet says to us, "Boys, they're coming into the peach orchard. This here's gonna be a fight." Oh, I never saw a bunch of Southern fellers more riled up than that day, I tell you what. All of a sudden, about 11 o'clock in the morning, Longstreet says, "Look at here, fellers. They's coming down the hill." I looked to the feller to the right of me, I said, "Shoot, boy, we gonna have some fighting. They's coming up to meet us." So we goes up into the peach orchard, right? Longstreet says to us, "Fellers, I don't know what this crazy sun gun's doing, but we gonna take advantage of it."
General Dan Sickles of 3rd Corps pushed his men forward some 1,000 yards into a peach orchard, effectively breaking the continuous Union line. When the Confederate Army attacked on the afternoon of July 2nd, they focused on Sickles' corps in the peach orchard, as it was separated from the rest of the line and was relatively easy to flank.
We were facing Longstreet's corps that day, and he's a very good commander with very good troops, so I knew that we had a tough fight ahead of us.
That fighting on July 2nd was quite brutal in the peach orchard. Man, I tell you, our artillery booming all over the place. I had a buddy, he lined up in the back with the 32nd Artillery Division Alabama unit. They said they was targeting the guys on the horses all day. That's what you do, you target officers. Man, you cut off the head, the rest of the snake will die. That's that type of thing.
Obviously the fighting got very hot and heavy, and in the midst of it, I lost a leg. These things happen. Forward, men! Charge! Oh. Medic! Medic!
Sickles' right leg was severely wounded by the cannonball that had ripped through it, and he required amputation. Field Surgeon Perry Cox was on hand that day and performed the task. Horrendous leg. Just tattered, hanging by a thread. Had to
Right off.
They got all riled up seeing him with his leg off. He's apparently still shouting orders.
But I was still commanding my troops, and I still needed to have my cigar with me at all times to get the men riled up. Keeping their spirits high was the most important thing.
After his amputation, Sickles was done fighting at the Battle of Gettysburg, but the Union Army soldiered on and won victory over the Confederate Army the next day. Sickles donated his leg to the Smithsonian Museum and continued to visit the display. Certainly, Sickles caused controversy, but he is part of a rich Civil War history that is rarely told in school curriculums, but may deserve to be noted because of how unusual and interesting the story is.